Did you know in Avengers Endgame, Rhodes is the first one to find Tony dying from his injuries after the battle with Thanos? And this is to pay tribute to Rhodes being the one to find Tony in the desert in the beginning of Iron Man. Rhodes is also the first one to find him at the end of him being Iron Man. This is also a reversal to Tony being the first to find Rhodes severely injured after the airport battle in Captain America: Civil War. Did you know in Spider-Man: No Way Home, Norman Osborn wasn't originally supposed to be the main villain? He was always part of the villain cast, but McKenna and Summers decided that Green Goblin absolutely had to be the main villain. And we got the version that we got where he gets the chance to redo his actions from Spider-Man. This time it's just in a much darker way that relates to Holland's version of Spider-Man. Did you know in The Mummy Returns, during a London concert in 2000, composer Jerry Goldsmith played a track from his score of the original Mummy movie, but he took a moment to explain how much he hated the movie and called it rather negative words. Little did he know that Stephen Summers was in the audience that night. Needless to say, Goldsmith wasn't called back for the score of the sequel. Did you know in Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, Will Ferrell does his own ice skating? While life is going well for Ron Burgundy, he does an ice skating performance while playing his flute, but his nemesis Jack Lime throws a wire down on the rink in his way, tripping Ron up and leaving him temporarily blind. Turns out Will didn't need a stunt double to stand in and skate for him, as the actor had already learned how to ice skate when he was preparing to star in the movie Blades of Glory as Chaz Michaels. Did you know in Blade, there was a different ending in store originally? Originally, Frost would have become La Magra and unleashed a blood tide, which would turn everyone into vampires. The movie would have ended with the vampires winning, and a sequel would have been fleshed out where Blade and Karen would travel around and destroy vampire food storage locations. They weren't sure if there was going to be a sequel, so they changed it. Did you know in Kick-Ass, the bazooka in the film is based on a real-world weapon? It draws inspiration from the US Marine Corps MK-153 SMAW, shorthand for shoulder-launched multi-purpose assault weapon, which fires an 83mm rocket. Its primary function is being a portable assault weapon, i.e. bunker buster, and a secondary function as an anti-armor rocket launcher. It was first used by the United States Armed Forces in 1984, and has a maximum range of 500 meters or 550 yards against a tank-sized target. It can be fired from a standing, kneeling, or prone position, and is possibly the loudest weapon in its class, with a muzzle report of over 187 decibels. Each launcher costs approximately $13,000 US, though some ammunition for it actually costs even more. For example, the Mark 6 heat round costs an astonishing $25,000. Did you know in Van Helsing? Van Helsing's transformation back to human form from werewolf form was originally supposed to be a nude scene. Steven decided that it would have been too distracting to the viewers, since he wanted them to focus on the emotion of Anna's death instead. The version that was used in the film is technically still the nude version, but they CGI'd a loincloth to cover Jackman's rear. Did you know Independence Day was one of the last films to use a minimal amount of CGI? The film took home the Academy Award for visual effects, and is mostly credited to one particular scene when the White House blows up. Today, this scene would be done with CGI, but this scene was actually completed by building a plaster model of the building more than 4 meters wide. There was so much detail put in that an up-close shot would not lose credibility. So the explosions were real, just on a much smaller scale.